Good morning. I tried to put this off for an hour, and I'm no good at putting things off for an hour because I feel like if I think too much, I get my ego too involved in the things that are coming through. So I'm just going to pop on here anyway, and I figure you guys can catch up to me whenever you catch up to me. And if you pop on while I'm sitting here, I'll be glad to have a chat with you, answer questions, whatever you'd like. So it's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy month. And I have a feeling that I'm not the only person that's going through the things that I'm going through. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of talk about it. Hi, Sujata. Talk about the things that are going on with us and see if I can sort out some things while we're talking. It's been a fearful time. There's been a lot of anxiety. And it's not typical for me these days. I've been through a lot. And so I've learned how to take fear and kind of set it on a back burner. And yet, in the current energy that we're in, it's almost as if, I've spoken about this before, as if we're being just kind of mashed and like we're a piece of clay, like the universe is taking us and really squeezing us, squeezing out those last little parts of us that can't move. Yeah, Sujata, I know. It's like, wow, I have these days where I feel so positive and so good. And then I'll have these days where all of a sudden it's like, even in the same day, in the same moment, all of a sudden my head is spinning. I tell the kids it's almost like a scene out of The Exorcist. That's what I feel like. I'm like doing so well and then I'm terrified. And I've come to this place where I've realized that I am in a space right now, literally, of a few weeks ago, we posted a video when I jumped off of a cliff, a small cliff. And that's where I'm standing now. And in that space of standing on that cliff, it was scary. And I didn't quite know. I was standing there looking down in the waters. I wish I could show you what the water looked like. It was swirling and it was almost black beneath me. It was so dark because it's at the bottom of a waterfall. So the waterfall was pushing that water and it was swirling around underneath me. And I literally could not see anything beneath the surface of that water. Even though once you jump into it, it looks perfectly clear. When you're standing up there, you can't tell that it's clear and that you have a good space to jump. You just feel like you're going to fall into nothingness. And so here I am in this space, and I don't believe that I'm the only one. I feel like we are, hi Sandra too, I just saw you pop up there. Working on your inner child, very good, Sujata. That is like key to all of this. Our children, they're braver than we are, I think. So here I am standing at the top of this drop off now. I'm leaving this cute little home we've been in for 2 months, almost 2.5 months we've been here, and it has become a safe haven for us here in the mountains. It's allowed this beautiful healing time, this time to go back into those spaces where Steve and I spent time. And instead of finding pain in this beautiful place and feeling sad for the loss of him, I feel as if it's almost as if he's drawn me into those spaces so that I had a chance to really heal. And it's been such a huge healing just being here. And I want to share that with you guys too, as that came to me as I was passing through the mountains the other day. I'm passing through and I'm seeing these places in a new light. I've made new memories. And so I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, or maybe even last week, about us going back into those childhood experiences that were so painful, revisiting those places and changing the memories. You know, we are capable of doing that. Excuse me for a second. It's very cold this morning and my throat is reacting to it. We are very capable of working as if we are alchemists. And so we go back to those spaces. For me, coming into the mountains was a physical going back into those memories. It was literally taking different members of my family and going to the places that I felt drawn to. It was going to the places that Steve and I really enjoyed together. And part of it is me experiencing him in a different way and feeling his energy in those spaces. When Shanna was here visiting, we went back to a place where I left some of his ashes. And the first time I went back to that place, I had Abby with me, and she was her energy was really affecting me, and she was excited, and she was in a different space. And I couldn't find the place in those woods where I left his ashes. I just couldn't seem to find it. There'd been a fire since then, and a lot of trees were down, and it looked different to me. And so, hi, Debbie. And so I had a very difficult time finding that space. When I went there with Shanna, it was different because she was quiet and she was still, and she was feeling the energy of the forest and those who had lived there in the past. And we kind of stepped into a magical place, and suddenly I felt him. It was like my heart just suddenly filled up, and I walked right to that space where I had left his ashes. It was like this magical time for me. And so I'm telling you this because I want you to understand that we are all so powerful, and that those that we love, they're still so close, and the veil is so thin. And when we allow ourselves to get into those spaces again, to go back to those memories, to go back into the darkest times or the most painful things that we've experienced, we almost have the ability to rewrite. We do have the ability. I'm being given that right now. We have the ability to kind of rewrite the way that we choose to react to our past. We can't change the experiences. We wouldn't want to change the experiences that we have had, because everything that's happened to us, all of the pain and all of the negative things that happened, they all worked to push us into this space of who we are now, as if we're a piece of clay, and we've been molded perfectly to become something that is so powerful and so incredible that we have the ability to find our voices. We have the ability to change the way this world is functioning, the way things are happening on the planet. We're literally changing everything through our energy, through the way that we're working with ourselves, our inner selves. I received that yesterday. That was one of the things that I wrote in my notes, is to, let me get the exact wording because I love the way Spirit brings me these things. Sometimes it's like so powerful. Redefine work, inner work as opposed to outer work. I've been using that word a lot, inner work. I feel sometimes as if I'm not doing enough physically to make this whole Kabam movement happen. And yet what Spirit is trying to give to me is the importance of doing the inner work, of working, of meditating, of becoming more in tune with my own higher self, setting my ego aside as often as possible to work with what's on the inside of me, because it's what's on the inside of me that creates the ability to manifest, that creates the ability to change my existence, to change the world. And that's why we're here. All of us, all of you that gather here with me, that feel drawn to these Go Lives, to anything that I've done, you are drawn in because you too are a light worker, because you too feel the need to do something. We all feel this need. We're like, what is it that the universe wants us to do right now? And we're like in this, Caleb keeps bringing it to me too. So I know, because when he starts experiencing things, I'm like, oh yeah, I get that, Caleb. We are feeling this anticipation as if we have been in college or whatever kind of school you choose. Most of us kindergarten, I think, but we've been working towards becoming something, towards training for something, as if we are being prepared. And all of us now are feeling this anticipation like it's time to step into it. We've been working our way towards something for such a long time, probably for lifetimes. We've been working our way. Let me rephrase that. We have been working our way into this for lifetimes, for generations, for all of our ancestors, for who we have been in past lives. All of this, we have been building ourselves up and going through so many experiences so that we can get ourselves to this place, this time, right now. We are in a magical time in creation, in history, in the history of all humanity, and that we have come to a place where we are capable of stepping off of that cliff, of saying, you know what, I've been working at this forever. I've been in basic training for a very long time, and I am ready. I'm ready to find my voice, to become whatever it is that I came here to become, to step off of that cliff and say, whatever it is down there, I can't see that swirling water beneath me, but I am powerful. I am ready to step into this role. Hi, Tammy. And I feel like if you're here and I can't see you, please let me know. Whoops, hold on. I did it again. I'm not sure how I did it. But I've turned myself around and you guys are looking at the wall. And this is really important. So wherever I went to, please come back. There I am. Sorry about that. You looked at the white wall for a few minutes. So let me tell you what happened to me yesterday. And this is not ego at all, because I was purely in my higher self zone. I sat down, did some yoga, which helps tremendously. If you guys don't do any kind of stretching, any movement, any body movement before you do your meditation, I highly encourage it, because when we really work on ourselves, when we're meditating, when we stretch, we're stretching the body and making space for the spirit. My spirit has gotten so big. It's like we're just expanding and expanding and expanding, and you all know what that expansion feels like. And if we don't work with ourselves and really stretch our bodies, we have a hard time keeping up. It just allows us, it allows our physical self to keep up with our spiritual selves as much as possible, and it still struggles. Trust me, our physical selves have a hard time with all of this expansion and all of this growth that we're going through. So I put myself in that space of stretching and coming into alignment with my own self, and I sat down on the floor to meditate. And I put on this really powerful just music that pulls me straight into center. And as I sat there, I called in my own spiritual team. We all have a team. We're all surrounded by spiritual teams. We have our own guides and our own angels. We have ascended masters. We have archangels. We have whoever you want to call on, source, energy, God. We're all that powerful. And so as I sat there and I called in my own team, first I always make this big bubble, this safe place for myself, and I call them into it. And as I did that, literally saw them kneel before me. I'm letting that sink into myself, and I'm letting that sink into you. Is that in the past few weeks, what has been coming to me is take on the energy of the Queen. Take on the energy of the Queen. Take on the energy of the King. Take on the energy of royalty. It is becoming the person that when she speaks, people do what she asks. That it's becoming that person that doesn't feel like there's any lack. You know, we let go of scarcity, the whole idea of scarcity. That may be scarcity of love. That may be scarcity of financial. That may be scarcity of anything. Anything that you feel you are lacking in your life. You come into this place of royalty. You come into this place of when I ask, I always receive. It's always received. I put out psychic energy. I ask for something to happen. I may not see it in physical form immediately. And yet when I ask, the universe always gives. There is no judgment. There is no, oh, you're not good enough for that. There is nothing of that in us. And that's what I'm trying to tell you today. As you're meditating, as you are going in front of whoever it is that you believe in, your maker, your creator, your higher power, which is actually within you, as you do that, you come to them in this place of, when I ask, I always receive. It's always received. We can go in any kind of Bible or any kind of, for me, because I was raised Christian, I will fall back on that. That is the way that I was raised. And I believe in that pressed down, shaken together, running over now more than ever. There are words, I can't go with everything that's in the Bible, but pieces of it come to me as truth. And that comes to me as truth, is pressed down, shaken together, and running over. When you ask, believe that you receive. The faith, the idea of true and beautiful and full and complete faith. And knowing that you are powerful, that you are a creator, that you are the queen, that you are the king, that you are royalty, and that you've come here for a beautiful purpose, and that you are completely supported in everything that you choose to do. Completely supported in everything that you came here to do. And so as you're moving into your joy, into your purpose, it is truly knowing and having the faith to know that you can step out into that swirling water, that there is nothing down there that's going to hurt you, that you are completely supported, that you will always be caught in the hands of love, that no matter what happens, trust me, there are still things that are going to happen in your life, but as they're happening, and you feel, oh, that was kind of rough. Why is this happening? Last night when I'm sitting in my car for the third time this week and it won't start, and I'm like, but I'm doing a tour with my kids in this car. This is all that I've got. All I've got is this little red journey, and it's going to take me all the way across from Boston to San Diego, and then from Seattle, Washington, down to Key West, Florida. And how am I going to do this in this little car if it won't start for me? That's my fear last night. And then as I'm sitting there in that fear last night, I went, wait a minute. I called Caleb, and Caleb's stepfather just happens to be in town. Came over to start the car for me, looked and realized that instead of all the scary things that I thought it could have been, I thought, maybe it's the alternator, maybe it's something really expensive, maybe there's something awful wrong with this car. He reaches up into the battery and realizes that the cables were not fastened properly at Walmart when they put the cable in. And so as he held that cable tight, I just hit the button, and sure enough, that car started right up. And today he's still in town, going to take the tire off, going to get into that battery and tighten everything up for me. And so we were driving all over every place yesterday and the day before, and that car never stopped on me the entire time. When we got to Bilo last night to get a few groceries, I turn off the car. When I get back in, the car won't start. I am sitting in town. His family just happens to be in town. Usually they aren't in, there's nobody that I know here that's close enough to help me with this. He just happened to be in town last night and today. Just happened to be in town. And when I say just happened, I'm saying that because we are always protected. We are always cared for. We are always watched out for. And we are never alone. And so that is the most important things that I'm being given this morning, is that it's time to take on the energy of the queen or the king. It's time to be powerful. It's time to let yourself shine. It's time to find your voice. It's time to step out into anything, any situation that you see that you feel is displaying itself in front of you, and you feel like, yes, I need to do that. I feel drawn to do this. It's time. I keep coming back with the same message, and it's got different aspects to it, but it's the same thing. It is time. It is time for us to let go of fear, to step up to that cliff, and to look down. You can look down at that swirling water and you can go, wow, we're still going to have some fear. We are still very much human inside of this. You know, we have this awesome, powerful God presence inside of us, and yet that God presence is still stuck inside of this little ego-filled body that gets scared sometimes. I get scared. And when I get scared, I've been really scared this week. It's like that is the part of me. My fear is the part of me that's being squeezed out of me this week. And it's causing anxiety. I'm like, what am I doing? Doing this all by myself with these kids. You know, there's this part of me that's so afraid of this. And yet the greater part of me knows that I have to find my voice, that I have to be willing to step out, whatever happens. Well, the water might be cold underneath me, whatever, but I'm going to be okay. We are going to be okay. So I have no idea how this is going to work yet. I haven't been given all of the details yet. I'm still waiting. I'm still sitting here going, okay, universe, we're running out of time. I've got one more week in this house. Okay, what is it? How are we going to do this? And yet somehow this morning I woke up with the knowing that it's all going to be okay, that it is time to step out, that there is something that needs to be done here, that it's powerful. And yet I don't feel like I'm alone. I feel like I'm very, very supported by Spirit. I feel like I'm very supported by so many of you that have come on to encourage and to give us ideas, and whatever it is, somehow we're going to make this work, you guys. Somehow we're stepping out. And this Come Be Alive With Me movement is going to take hold, and it's going to bring people out, and it's going to wake them up. That's what we're here to do. We're here to wake people up to who they really are. And so, you guys, I really appreciate you sharing this out. Help, you know, that's like the biggest thing right now is this little cabal movement. It's like a little snowball sitting up at the top of the mountain right now. And if you guys can help me push that snowball off the mountain, I do trust in him, Sujata. I really do. I feel like we're here to do this for a reason. And I'm trying to see what you guys are writing without my glasses, and that's kind of crazy. Ruth, I love the universe, which is God, which is quite honestly to hone the honey. Yesterday I was in the midst of doing a good deed and I suddenly fell. I saw that you suddenly fell and hit your face on the concrete, Ruth. I am so sorry. And somehow I feel like you are going to benefit. You're going to be, that's one thing you kind of triggered in me is it keeps coming to me this week, is being in the right place at the right moment. Is that these things happen, that my car breaking down, you falling like that, it feels like it's an awful thing when we're in it. We're like, oh my gosh, why did the universe let that happen to me? The universe didn't let that happen. It happened. It was one of those things. But in the process of these things happening, we are able to, we are put in the right place at the right time. Oftentimes it's a redirection to move us into something. Hi, Demi. Debbie, working on your inner child. You guys gather with me. Lots of sadness. I'm sorry, Sujata. It is. It's a very difficult time. It's a time of working all of these negative emotions out and kind of reworking them to make them work for us. And anytime you need to talk, you just let me know. I know how it feels. I've been there. You are a voice, not an echo. Thank you, Sally. Trust in Him. I do. And that is the thing, is that when we fall away from our faith, when we start to doubt whether or not things are going to work, we start to get scared. We're all going to get scared. How many of you, one of my favorite verses from the Bible, and I don't want to go too much in the Bible because I don't want people to be, like, I know sometimes when you get into one faith or another, we can kind of judge each other. I am very open to anybody's faith. I want you to know that. But there is one story that keeps coming to me in the Bible this week, and I need to put it out there, is, I think it was Matthew. It's been a while since I've studied this, so forgive me because I kind of fell away from this whole faith thing myself for a long time. But I think it's where Matthew looked out, Jesus was walking on water. And Jesus came here as a teacher to us. He is an ascended master, and He came here not to be put on a pedestal. He came here to show us what we are all capable of. And in this particular verse, there's Matthew on the boat. If I got the name wrong, forgive me. On the boat, and he looks out, and Jesus is walking on water, and he's like, I want to do that too. I'm just like that. I want to do that too. If Jesus can walk on water, so can I. So standing here on the boat, I'm like, okay, I'm going to step out onto the water. Let me see what's going to happen, because if He can do it, I can do it. And I'm feeling faith really strong. Go and step out on the water, and everything's good. I'm like, oh, wow, look at me. I can walk on water. This is great. And then I start to take a couple steps. I'm like, still walking on water. I'm like, woohoo, this is great. I can walk on water now. This is awesome. And then all of a sudden, the storms start to blow. And the waves start to come in. And it's like getting scary out. And there's thunder. And I'm scared. And I start to sink. And in the words of Jesus, if I can quote Him somewhat closely to what the Bible says, is something about having a lack of faith. Is that, why did you doubt? Why did you doubt? So that's my church this morning, is yesterday and sometime this week I have doubted. And as I let doubt come in, I start to sink. And when I start to sink, I get scared because I'm sinking into that water, and it's just scary down there, and I'm afraid. And yet, if I can just find that faith enough again, I will rise back up like all of us, and we'll walk on water. That's where we are right now, you guys. That's where we are. We are in this place of being so powerful that we will be able to, that if we just can find the faith enough, we can move mountains, we can walk on water, we can heal with just a single touch. We just have to find it within ourselves. As where I can see how humanity is evolving, you can see it in the way that women are becoming so much stronger, that there's so much love on the planet, and people are really, really changing. Pay attention. The news isn't going to show you this stuff, but pay attention. So many of us are learning to walk on water and learning to step out in faith and do what it is that we feel like we came here to do. After lifetime after lifetime after lifetime where we've gotten suppressed and held back, and there's been so much fear, we have a right to be afraid. We have died for this in the past. And yet this time, we're not going to die for it. This time we can step out, we can let go, we can take off the cloak of fear, and we can step out knowing that we are always supported and that we are always powerful powerfully manifesting a more beautiful life. And as we're doing that, we are creating a new planet. That's what I heard yesterday as I was meditating, a new earth. We're literally creating a new earth under our feet. How great is that to be a part of that? So that's what I came here today to tell you guys. I want you to know that you are so powerful and you are so worthy and you are so loved and so supported. And even when you get afraid and even when those pains come up, you are surrounded by ancestors, by your own team, by angels, by ascended masters. Just call out to say, hey, I'm so afraid right now. I'm scared. I feel like I'm sinking. And know always, every time you do that, that the hands reach out to pick you back up and that you are never, ever alone. And I'm sure that's why I've gone through the things that I've gone through this week. Just to be able to come here and say, I can see how every step of the way, everything that I've gone through, there has always been help. There's always been enough. Everything has always been okay. And it will continue to be okay. We are in a new energy and things are so much easier and the veil is just not even existent anymore. And all we have to do is take one little step, sit down on the floor, put your intent on communication with the other side, and know that when you go step into that just slightly, when you put your intent on something, just a tiny little bit of intent on what you want these days, it comes in just like rivers of love. It's always going to happen, and it's just going to get better and better and better and stronger and stronger and stronger. And the more we're willing to step into it, the more we feel it, the more alive we become, the more open our hearts are, the bigger we get into this. And pretty soon we are going to be doing everything. We're going to be walking on water. We're going to be flying off those cliffs. We're going to have wings. That's what I've got for you guys today. It's powerful. It's powerful. No more fear. Let's just do this. I can't say no more fear. We're going to have them. And you're forgiven. Trust me, there isn't even forgiveness necessary. They know what we're going through. We're on the front lines here. They know. And so they want to help us in every way possible. So just accept it. Take that cloak as if you're the queen. I saw this in a vision. A cloak was being put on my shoulders. It was red. It was fur-lined, just like that of a king. And I saw a crown being put on my head and a scepter being put in my hand. And this happened months ago before I ever got to this place. This is who we are now. We are royalty. Step into a new role. Be the queen. Be the king. Know that what you ask for is always received. Believe in yourself and just watch the magic happen. Have yourselves a beautiful, beautiful day. You are so welcome, Sujata. Debbie, I have a prayer. I can't see if that helps. God, remove any fear from my emotional body. Exactly. We just keep asking that because our emotional body needs all the support it can get. Potter's thrown on the wheel. Exactly. Ruth, exactly. And it feels, Queen Bee, I love that. I love that. I can't get all the way down through that. I can't see everything, but that's beautiful what you're going on. Debbie Hayes, thank you for being with me, for hearing this message and for spreading it out. Let's keep sharing these things out, okay? Because it truly is. It's inspiring. It's an inspiration what comes through, and I just need to share it with you all, and I hope that you'll share it with others. Let's all find our voices today. Let's find our voices and let's get out there and let's keep this message going. Have yourselves a beautiful, beautiful Sunday, and I will be back on very, very soon. Share more. See, we are stepping out into this adventure, whether I always like it or not. I do feel like it's an adventure, and I'm excited. Thank you for the big hugs. Hugs and love right back at all of you. Thank you so much for sharing and for joining me. Sally, I went through a week of uncertainty, gave it to God, and woke up stronger. Exactly. There's like this energy this morning that's like, wow. I had my doubts last night, and this morning, everything is okay. It's always okay. It is always okay. We are always okay. That is the message that I continue to receive. It's always okay. You are never alone. You are so loved. And as we do this, one little thing that I need to tell you guys is community is so important to us right now. It's so important. We can have all the spiritual team around us that we need at any given time. We can ask for it. But I want you to know the importance of these meetings together, when you guys join with me, where 2 or 3 are gathered together. So as we join together like this, we are strengthening one another. We need our physical selves together also. That's what Kabam is all about. It is getting in a car and going out and physically meeting with people, physically standing in front of people and giving a message like this one to people, to groups. And if you are anywhere on my path and you want me to do that for you, I am stepping out. I am ready to step into the role and to be heard and be seen and give this message in any way that the universe wants me to give it. And so if you feel so compelled and you have a church or a group that you would like me to meet with, please, Christine, hello. I'm so glad you joined us. Please, please watch this whole thing. It's a powerful message from Source. But if you need books, I can line you up with books for a lot less money than Amazon and Barnes & Noble. I will help you get a case of books if you want to give them out, if you want to sell them yourself. They're a powerful book. It's so simple, and yet it wakes people up. It's a wake-up call. It's a very simple way for people to start to open up to intuition. So it's Anchor Light, an awakening to your greatest treasure. It is out there in Amazon and Barnes & Noble, but I will help you if you want. You contact me, and I'll help you get a case of them if you need to. And they're like less than $4 a book if you want to get a whole bunch. Just let me know, and I will set you up. What else? Guys, I need help. I need to know that you're there. I need, in any way possible, I'm sitting here saying, you know what, I'm afraid a little bit of this whole thing. And I want it to be a community effort. I need it to be a community effort. Source needs this to be a community effort. I see it like we're gathering and we're walking together. So in any way that you want to join us in this Kabam movement, feel free. We have silicone bracelets with Kabam on them. We're making rocks that we're putting out that say #Kabam on them. We want to draw people to this. I have the funniest little cards, and I'm going to continue to make these, and you guys will laugh if you can see it. Because my son is crazy. We have these crazy kids to travel with, and we're putting these out, and we're meeting people wherever we go. We're like, Caleb, we got to the top of a mountain the other day, and there was a couple of ladies up there playing instruments, and we stopped, and we listened to them, and then Caleb went right up and met them, and he started to, he gave them our card, and they gave us their card, and he took pictures of them. He's a great photographer. We both took pictures, and he is going to give them the pictures for their own advertising. And in the process of doing that, they're kind of returning that same energy in our direction. Whatever we can do for people along the way. If you need any beautiful photography, if you need to want to join us in advertising, you got something going on and you want to put #Kabam, and as we grow, we're working together to advertise each other and to help each other grow. That's what this is all about. It's a give and take. There is no, oh, I need you to do this for me. There is a, what can I do for you? And in the process, we're helping each other kind of energy in this. So please, spend some time on it. Meditate on it. #Kabam. If you are Sally, thank you so much that we can advertise in your group. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Anywhere that this gets out further is perfect and such a huge help. I'll continue to give you guys energy. I hope you receive healing. I feel like this alone, there's such an energy here today in this group. It almost takes my breath away. And I want you to know that right now, whatever your needs are, put your intent into resolving those needs, into healing, into whatever it is. We are so supported right now. Source energy has got our backs. And so I hope that you're feeling the healing energy and the strengthening of each one of us as we gather here together, whether you're watching it now live, whether you watch it a year from now, 6 months from now, 10 minutes from now, whenever you watch it. I hope you feel that loving energy that's coming forth from Source energy at this time. And I think that's all I got for you. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your friendship and for your support. And I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you, Christine, for sharing. Christine, I'm glad you love that book. If you just share with your friends or whoever you feel drawn to, not everybody's going to be ready for that book yet. But I find that even when they're not ready, if they've got the book in their hands, when they are ready, they pick it up and they pick up. There's always little pieces in that book that help. There's little pieces, even if they don't get the whole thing. So I think that's all Source has, I think. Let me wait, see. I feel such love for you guys today. I want you to know that I'm sending that out to you. And I think that's all I got. Please, please stay in touch. Let's see what we can get done. We are amazing creatures. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll catch you again soon. Bye.